Hi guys, and welcome back. Now this is a little oil study of a butterfly, and I'm going to show you a couple of little tricks to give you an idea of getting the wings as equals on each side. As we know, they are symmetrical, so we do need to try and get that right. Sometimes you can just sketch it out and it'll be fine, but another time it's just a nice little safeguard. So what I've got here is just a small panel that I'm going to do this on, and I'm just going to literally draw around the size. So now when I actually put my drawing of the butterfly in place, I've neither got it too large nor too small for the piece of board or for the presentation or the composition. So literally all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line down through the center, something like that. It is on an angle, and I'm going to come and draw out the shape roughly as it should be, like so. And this is just a quick sketch in many regards. And then we got the abdomen, which is a lot smaller than I've just given it. Let's give it like that. So we've got thorax, abdomen, and the head is about there. And of course we've got the antennae coming off on each side here. So now what the trick is, that should be pretty much symmetrical on each side. Don't worry if this and this is not, but it just shows you how easy it is to make this different to this, and it is a little different, but not to panic over that. So now look at the wing and look at the shape of the wing as it comes away, and this is a meadow brown, I think. If I've got that wrong, someone's going to correct me. The second wing comes well, the first wing comes down from the edge of the thorax like so, and is a lot shorter than the second, or the one that's underneath. That comes out like so, and then comes down from the back of the abdomen, and then is scalloped out. Now I'm going to count these: 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So we got the curvature round, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Something of that nature. Won't look too bad. Alright, now check your drawing at this point. We don't need to worry about any of the dots and dashes and curves and fine shapes that are in the middle. What we do need to worry about is the fact that we've got this roughly where we want it to be. There's a little shape there, and that then comes round. I'm just double checking everything before I proceed. This is a little more acute, comes in like so, and then this sort of literally is in the way that I've got it joined up. Alright, so that I'm going to be happy with and leave that as my butterfly. Now, is it too big? Let's just put that on. See, really and truly it is too big. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to leave mine this size, but I'm going to just bring it down when I come to do the final drawing. So the next step is to take your piece of paper, make sure it's quite a good piece of paper. Let's get rid of the pad itself. We don't need that anymore. Get rid of that. And literally now with either a scalpel, and if you don't have a scalpel or a cutting mat, which I do have, I'm just going to use it actually. Okay, so moving on, all I've got now is a cutting board and an X-Acto cutting knife or a blade, and I'm just going to literally cut around the shape. Very, very, not absolute, but just want to get my drawing about right. Nice around the curve, he says carefully, and around this shape here. Doesn't matter if it's a little jerky, you can tidy that up in the painting process. What you do need is to have a straight line down the center here, all the way down to the bottom there. Take this one in here, and then start doing the scallop. Even this could be a straight line. If you're not, you can scallop it in the painting. You don't have to be exact at this point, but that is as close as. Now hopefully that is about right. just join that up there and into there. There you go. Alright, so that process is done. Okay, so going back to the board, and here's our butterfly. Get rid of the knife and put the cover back over that for safety. Take my pencil and place our butterfly roughly where we want him or her or it, whatever, on the canvas, and simply draw your line around. Now I want mine sort of somewhere like that, nice angle. So I'm going to draw my line down through the center, around the head, and around the wing shape here. Just press down so we get it about right, like so, and out here. Now, as I said, you can probably draw this if you want to, but this is just pretty much a foolproof way of doing a butterfly. Now let's just simply turn that over, put that down that line one more time, and draw the reverse. Making sure you don't move it. There we are. Okay, so we're pretty much sorted out on our butterfly. So now the last part we've got to do is just use the template for one more time, just to work out the abdomen and the thorax. Also just to plot the two top wings from the bases or the bottom wings, so that we have that little separation. And that really does mean to say you just got to look at the reference and get it right. Double check your lines, double check your drawing before you start to paint. Now we're going to start mixing down some paint, and we're going to get cracking on with this subject. I'm using umber, but I'm making it quite a pale line. I don't need to do the dark umbers that I would normally draw with. We have a pencil line already. It's one of the few times that I would use pencil just to get this shape pretty much bang on. Certainly as a teaching tip for you guys, it's a great way of doing it. So just having drawn it, then you can start painting over. I did use a very light brown because that is suggestive of the meadow brown edge of their wings. Now I'm just going in with a lot of various greens. The blues that I'm using for this predominantly are cobalt blue and ultramarine blue. I've got a lot of darts going in at the same time, and I'm altering different values between different yellows as well. I'm using cadmium yellow. I'm also using the lemon yellow, and both of those will give me very different results. You see here is a lot of cadmium yellow going into some of these blues, and they give a very acidic green. And if I want the green to become quite a fresh, lively, cooler green, then I would actually start to use cobalt and lemon yellow. But for the purposes of this at the moment, we're sort of mixing. Now, I think obviously I'm painting in very suggestive areas of various states of ripening fruit from the blackberry bush, and these are all blackberry leaves, but I'm not actually painting any one of the leaves. I'm just doing very, very generic darks and lights in green and dark umber greens, things like that, just to really darken it down so that I've got a full range of greens and lights to dark. This animal, this insect, sorry, is sitting on a leaf, and that really affords me the chance to put that nice dark shadow area under the wings, and it gives it that extra dimension, that third dimension. It doesn't make it look flat. It will allow me to give you the sense of the fact that it is actually there, and it's sort of poised on top of a leaf, and it can fly off at any moment. The darks that I'm putting in now is painting really in negative space, and I talk a lot in my tutorials about positive and negative spaces, and they are really important because they can create paintings very, very easily by knowing when you're working in one and when you're working in the other, and allowing yourself the ability to sort of use the edges of one against the other. And it's easier done or easier shown in some of my watercolor tutorials. In fact, I'll put a little link up to a couple that I have done recently where I do speak a lot about negative and positive spaces. But so yeah, have a look at those and you'll get to see more over what I'm looking at or what I'm talking about. Now I'm a bit more brown going in, but I've put a little bit of alizarin to that, or I use magenta, but alizarin is very, very similar. I'm putting 2 very dark umber eye spots into this, and I'm putting a dark value in for the thorax and for the bottom of the abdomen. I'm just going in 1 or 2 other darks just to add a little bit extra to the background. It really isn't going to have too much great detail in the background. I didn't really want to start painting individual leaves. It was a small exercise on showing people how to really get away and paint a butterfly, and a neat little trick to help you do that. And that's what it is. And while we're on the point of that neat little trick, one thing to bear in mind that it actually only works when the butterfly is in full, what I call full plan, or a word I don't like to think about is butterflies as specimens, but we've all seen butterflies that are pinned down. Unfortunately, it was a thing that collectors used to do, and I don't think it's widely done anymore, which is thankful. And I've got to admit, we've all done it as a kiddie. But anyway, enough said on that. I've learned how to treat things a lot nicer and better since those days. But what I was trying to allude to was the fact that it only works when you've got equal size to the wings, of course. So that would have to be in this position. If you've got a subtle angle to the wing, then of course that little idea with the paper trick will not work. So yeah, it's just something to bear in mind. If you're going to do something like that, then it's a great little device. Now I'm adding in some extra lights and some other details moving forward, and just adding some lights into the various little areas of the wings. Now these wings are made up of cells in many ways. You can see the veining. If you look very, very close, you can see the veining through most butterfly wings, as you can do through dragonflies, demoiselles, all these different insects with large wings. They're all sort of linked with cellular structure, and these are no different. But these are covered in a multitude of very, very fine hairs, and they can give the butterfly a really beautiful shimmer. And it's something that I thought I had actually done on the edges of these, but I realized that I needed a bit more. So that's why I've gone in with this lighter value. It's not white, it's not that stark, it's a very, very light umber. And it's just giving that little lead edge shimmer to each of the wing where it meets the background, and also where the abdomen and other parts are against the wings. And they're not really, it's not white on the color of the butterfly, it's merely where the light is catching the very, very fine hairs, and it looks like a very shiny shimmer. So that's what I'm trying to recreate with this little piece, and that's hopefully what you're getting from it. But it gives you an idea of how all these little bits sort of go on. Now I've got to start looking at the antenna and a little dark edge to the tops of them. It's only a little tap, it's nothing big. I'm now lightening the thorax and giving it a more brown, more considered feeling as to the abdomen. The abdomen's got a little set of joints. They're little light, I'm putting in now, little light areas that give the segmentation to the abdomen, and that also allows the abdomen to bend, and you can often see that certainly when it comes for the butterfly to mate. You'll see that bend, and wouldn't happen if that wasn't jointed or segmented in the way that it is. Each of the eye spots got 2 little white eyes in them, and now I'm adding in some of the finest detail that I will do is a little bit of veining just to suggest the veining and that across the wings themselves. And we are coming to the end of this now. We're almost finished. We're just laying in the last little bits of detail, a little bit of the shadow underneath. And I do hope that you've got something from this moving forward. I've enjoyed painting it for you, and if you have, then please look, maybe consider putting a like on it, clicking the thumbs up button, maybe even add a comment. That would be fantastic if you would do that. And if you're not a subscriber, and I do hope you are, but if you're not, if you don't happen to be and you've enjoyed what you're seeing, then would you please consider hitting the subscribe button. I really am trying to build my painting channel up with all this content and have been working on it for some time, so every subscriber really does help me, and it also tells YouTube that it's a worthwhile video to help promote, so you really are helping me out if you do that. And in the meantime, don't forget, every week there is a though there are 2 actually live streams, one on a Monday, one on a Friday at 7 p.m. That's British time, Greenwich Mean Time. So be great, come along to those and join me and watch me paint something live. And if it goes wrong, you see that on camera too, because it's absolutely live and there's no hidden bits, so it is what it is. So yeah, look forward to hopefully seeing a few there. In the meantime, I wish each and every one of you all the best, happy painting, and stay safe, and catch you all in next week's video. So all the best, guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you all soon. Bye bye.